Welcome to Tamer Bowling Video Ball Reviews. We need your support, so if you like what we do, please support us by joining our Patreon page. I want to thank Limerick Bowl for their support. If you're in the area, don't forget to visit Limerick Bowl in Limerick, Pennsylvania. Let me introduce our new partner, Haley's Pro Shop. A big thank you to Jeff Miller and Ron Hoppy. Don't forget to check out Haley's Pro Shop in Burlington, Washington for world-class drilling and coaching. Welcome back, everybody. Today we are looking at the new Storm Pitch Purple. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. First impressions, the Pitch Purple feels like a reactive resin tamed down with urethane as opposed to a urethane ball with some reactive content. Alright, let's jump right in. Like the Omega Crux felt it had more surface out of box than what Storm claimed. The Pitch Purple actually had less surface. It definitely didn't look like 1,000 grit and maybe, 3,000 sheen or something like that. With that said, you can always change the surface to suit what you're looking for, and I do all the time. I can actually see maybe a little more usability with this less surface for house shots, for example. The big thing for me is that the Pitch Purple felt like a weak reactive as compared to a souped up urethane. In that regard, this doesn't seem anything like the Hammer Purple Urethane, to be honest. And I know that's, people are going to ask that question a million times. The Hammer looks much more like a true urethane. The Pitch Purple feels different. It felt clean through the mids, kind of like a reactive ball. It doesn't feel like it churns early, and the course certainly will not aid in early roll. This is partly due to having what looks more like 4,000 grit surface. The transition is smooth as you would expect, and the downlane motion is like a you've heard me talk about booming motion. This is like a mini booming motion for me. It allowed me to treat the house shot with more direct trajectories, but not that, start early and roll for 30 feet look of urethane. Definitely not. So that's why I felt more weak control reactive than super urethane. For Shawn, this was also pretty straightforward motion. He's playing more direct and using a little belly like I was. However, as expected, he saw a stronger downlane motion. The Pitch Purple felt more continuous and boomy out of his hands. And with the angle he could generate, he could even open up to where he can get it to come back from 5, where, I would flag the head pin from there. We aren't clear at this stage how much this ball affects the pattern as the night progresses, but I suspect it'll have a very similar impact like other urethane does. That's to say, it'll take oil from the front and redistribute it to the back beyond the pattern. And that's certainly a concern for house shots, where you don't want to make an already cliffed shot lose the back end, there would be in the dry part of the lane. Bryan is next, and his first thought was, wow. And then, wow. When we tested the fever pitch, he really wasn't a huge fan. It's too weak with over-under. Thinking about the tank blitz, for example, I saw pretty good results during testing, and so did he. Ultimately, thinking back, he felt like it was too strong, so he had to open up the angles, which meant giving away the pocket too often without enough of downlane move. He got up there with this ball. The Pitch Purple, he was fairly direct, but just saw a nice early smooth roll that still had shape down lane. And yes, he's pretty direct, but maybe a couple boards more direct than other reactive stuff. Honestly, you don't see the ball reaction in his hands and think urethane, this is urethane. He had a good reaction with a little bounce from the friction and had a little shim in, which is the only giveaway that this is not quite reactive. But he still can't throw it out the window on this pattern, since it's a little heavier than a typical house shot, whereas if you had a much heavier walled shot, you probably would get it to bounce off the outside. Final thoughts, we all saw an interesting motion from the Pitch Purple. There are a couple of standout notes. One, it doesn't really compare to the Hammer Purple Urethane, in case you were thinking that. And two, we didn't once think, oh, this house shot has too much volume for this ball. I'm actually looking forward to sharing our thoughts on the sport shot, where I think it may offer something interesting. The Pitch Purple has a unique look on the lanes. We've seen traditional urethane, which is early and smooth. We've seen attempts like the Covert Tank, the Tank Blitz, Fever Pitch, etc. They all have very distinct reactions in my mind. Oddly enough, none of them overlap in reaction, even while they do overlap in use case to some extent. The pitch purple seems to be the perfect ball if you want almost reactive up front and a blend of urethane and reactive down lane.